guys, how's it going? Marcelo here.
And Weston.
Drinking out of a... Is that a big gulp?
It's an
water,
extra
but
cool large.
Oh, did you get that from like 7-Eleven or something?
I don't know. They don't sell that at 7-Eleven. My brother got that.
Anyway, okay, welcome to Trash Talk. Also, sorry for the fan in the background. We're not turning this one off this time. It's too hot.
The summer is awful.
Oh, God, yeah. Living in the summer is sometimes a travesty. But anyway, so...
That Fresno weather.
So,
either hot as balls or hot as balls.
Yeah, it's about accurate. Okay, so we've got a cool game here today. So way back in Arc, I believe it's 2, when Chase, actually it was Chase's debut on the show, he and I went over Portal 2, and today we're going over the original.
Now you're thinking with portals.
Yeah, okay, so Portal was developed and published by Valve. Came out October 9th of 2007, but it didn't start out published and developed by Valve. A couple of college students at DigiPen came up with an idea for a game called Narbacular Drop, which had the idea of shooting portals at walls, and you can go through them and solve puzzles and do stuff that way. And it looked a lot different, but some people at Valve saw this project. I think they had like some kind of career showcase, whatever dealio, and they showed off the game. And some people from Valve, I'm not sure if it was, I don't think it was Gabe Newell himself, but people from Valve saw that project and got really interested in it. Gabe eventually heard about it if he wasn't one of the ones there. I'm not really sure how the story goes exactly, but he obviously ended up finding out about it, really liked it, hired them on the spot, I believe, and they ended up reworking the whole thing into Portal. So, very, very interesting. The game itself is really, really fun, so we'll get into that right now with the story. Give me your vague experience with the story.
Pretty much you're a test subject in this place, and the robot lady, GLaDOS, is making you do tests. But she ends up trying to kill you. Then you defeat her. And in the second game, she ends up a potato.
She ends up as a potato.
My abridged version of the story.
I mean, well, obviously you're not wrong, but, yeah, there isn't much to the story that's at least given to you in full-blown, here's the plot in this game. The sequel gets very also link down below to Chase's and my review on Portal 2, but Portal 2 gets a lot more plot heavy. This one was just for starters. This was the experiment, seeing as how this started off as a completely different game, and they made it into a completely different game, into what it is. Gameplay was the main focus. This was an experimental game. No real game was done like this prior, so it's technically the first of its kind. And so with that being said, they needed to focus more on the gameplay than on the story. But the story is still there, and it's still cool at how, you know how you always hear the tutorial person, just a voice, in this case, a female's voice coming through, you know, echoing through the walls of Aperture, telling you how to get through stuff, mimicking you and not mimicking, but taunting you.
Mocking.
Mocking is what I meant to say. Thank you.
Yeah.
As you go through. And then eventually it turns out, yeah, she don't like you. She wants to kill you. And she tries to actively have the test chambers. Eventually they're more dangerous. And then she just fully out tries to kill you. That is basically the story. There are some other things too, like scribbles and drawings and sketches on the walls and stuff. Which were done by a guy called Ratman, who you don't really actually hear about in any of the two games, in either of the two games. You actually find that out through an in-between comic, which actually came out. It's an actual physical comic, and it came out with a couple of other comics done based off of other Valve projects. And it takes place, I think, in between Portal 1 and 2, and that's where you find out about him. But, again, that stuff you don't find out in the game, you find it out through other means and whatnot. But for what it's worth, yeah, with it being more gameplay driven, that's what pretty much makes it fun, so, yeah. Gameplay.
Speaking of gameplay, yeah, let's talk about that. So the gameplay is pretty cool. So basically, you shoot blue portals and then you shoot yellow portal, or orange portals. But you don't start off with those. You start off with certain one. You start off with a blue portal shooter.
Well, first off, you actually start without anything at all.
Yeah,
and
right.
The little beams make portals for you, just so you get the concept, the general concept of going through a portal to end up somewhere else. Then you eventually get a gun that only shoots blue portals. Then you find one, which is, it looks like the gun, but technically, I believe, I'm not sure if you ditch one for the other, or if it's more of an add-on that ends up making it to where you can shoot both blue and orange. So, what's cool about it is how everything is designed around that, and taking physics into consideration with physics-based challenges, which is as far as you got when you were playing. And then there's having to redirect lasers and fucking the little beams of light that go back and forth and all that, and there's a lot. I believe you also, am I thinking of Portal 2 when I said this, or Portal 1? There's like bombs that you have to like redirect as well, I believe, or something like that. There's crazy stuff you do with the portals, and it's not just about the exploration, but it's about just seeing how things work, and then using the portals to use those things that are trying to be against you, using them to your advantage.
Basically a puzzle.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the one thing though, with the whole physics-y stuff with moving through portals, is sometimes when you're flying through them and entering whatever, and the way certain angles are with the portals, this is something they fix to a degree in the second game, but this was kind of a game that could cause that. There's no like major cases of portal causing people to throw up and whatever and have seizures, but with the whole thing of when you enter a portal the wrong way, the camera like flips and does weird shit, and it has to like reorient itself so where you're on the ground and you're straight ahead, even if you don't enter the portal that way. So it's very odd the way that they handled that in the first one. Again, very experimental. They fixed that thankfully to where it doesn't happen as badly or even as much in the second game. But it was, I didn't have any problems with it, but like I tried showing my mom the game and she couldn't even watch me play it because she got not so much as nauseated but kind of dizzy, and she couldn't really just focus on it. So I mean,
Oh yeah, especially with one trick you can do with the portals, like if you shoot a blue portal right above you and then a orange portal down below you, you can go through pretty much an infinite loop. I was just fucking around with that. I messed up a couple times, but I did some really trippy shit. I don't know if Marcelo recorded it or not. I think he did.
I did. It's on Instagram. I'm not even gonna put it in the video. Just link to the Instagram page where you can see.
You gotta show me the Instagram. Right?
It's fine.
Basically, like I ended up doing like kind of a spiral thing, and after a while,
there's a sound effect that plays like a little like whoosh when you go through a portal. So when you're going through them like really fast, one after just over and over, it's like and it's.
I know it's like some crazy shit, and then
it's trippy as hell, but it's fun.
Yeah, I don't know if that could even break the game. I was kind of worried that would.
No, I'm pretty sure they probably did that on purpose just so you can have your bit of fun with it. And just
well, yeah, because they probably figured like their thought process is like, wait, what if someone wanted to shoot the portal up and then shoot it down? Like, why would they want to do that? It's like, I don't know, just
the fuck of it. Really.
For the fuck of it.
They had to have tested that before putting it in the game to see if it would even work, and it obviously does.
Oh yeah, it's quite fun. If you're kind of nauseous and all that shit, don't do it.
Don't do it.
You'll trip balls.
And don't watch videos or whatever of people doing it. Cause it's, yeah, so it's crazy. Actually, there's a really funny video. I don't really think I should link it, but someone did a little test, like they modded, well, I don't know if they modded the game, but they did, well, no, they had to, what am I talking about? They put, the main character's name is Chell, by the way, we didn't say that, but they put her in a scenario, they put the player in general in a scenario where, what if you were crushed by two portals at the same time, and you were in that in-between, like, realm, and the shit that ended up happening in that video looked even trippier than just going through, like, the portals really fast. Like, there was like a mirror effect, like a kaleidoscope effect that when you would move the camera, and it looked very strange, but it's really, really funny. That in particular example can happen in the game. Again, like I said, I think they modded it, but it's just funny anyway, like just to think about it.
I'll definitely watch that video after we're done recording this.
Okay, so the aesthetics of the game, you can go ahead and tell a little bit about that.
On the aesthetics of the game, like everything is kind of just white and clean. It's supposed to be like kind of a sciencey place.
A facility.
A facility, yeah. So it's kind of like that at first, but then I imagine shit just gets Just worse and worse stuff.
Because I'm not even sure, because where you ended up, I'm not even sure you're halfway through the game. There's still quite a lot more. It's not overly long, but it does take a while to complete. I don't know it by hours or anything, but...
If you spend like a good day on it, I think, would you be able to complete it in a day?
Yeah. Both of them actually, yeah, because I've completed Portal 2 in a day. Portal 1, playing for the first time, I didn't beat it in a day, but I imagine you could.
Yeah.
It's not overly long, but it's long enough to where, you get your fill. You don't have to play it in one long session, but if you wanted to, just to be like, I'm going to play through the game.
Yeah.
You've got that right there. But yeah, with the aesthetics, it's all pristine, it's all clean. The thing, though, what's funny is that it's abandoned. So, it hasn't been in, action for like a couple decades within the story of the
So if that's the case,
world.
how do they keep that place so clean?
Probably GLaDOS and her robots. There's also turrets. We didn't mention the turrets. We'll get to that in characters.
Oh, yeah.
But I would imagine GLaDOS just to run, to keep Chell there and to run the experiments on her and all that stuff. So.
Another thing, how did Chell not shit her pants so often? It's like...
Who knows? She's a silent protagonist. They made fun of that constantly in the second game.
Oh, yeah.
So, mainly again, since it's puzzle oriented, it's all about how the rooms are designed. No ordinary place would have places designed like this. One just has a fucking pit of gross shit, water, acid.
I imagine it's like poop.
Just sewer ass, fucking gross. I don't even know what.
Like
it is.
they just put all the chemical and shit, and then probably the janitors probably dumped some shit in there.
Probably.
Yeah, it's like just dump it in this pit.
Yeah.
Some stupid lady is probably gonna do puzzles and shit later on.
They'll probably convert it into a test chamber.
Hell, maybe that was the sewer, but then they decided, let's make this a test chamber. Because might as well. Let's make this like a steaming pile of crap. And they superheated it to where it's a literal steaming pile of shit.
Here's the okay. So we played it through. Well, you kind of have to play the first one through the orange box. It's on PC and, as well and Xbox, but on Xbox and PS3, I don't know why they see. This is how experimental it was. The game comes in a bundle.
Called the Orange Box.
It's called the Orange Box. So here we've got Half-Life, Portal, and Team Fortress.
Team Fortress 2.
And Team Fortress 2 to be exact. And
it's Half-Life 2.
Whatever. It's sequels, except for Portal itself. Portal 2, as you saw in the previous episode we did on it, has its own box cover, it's its own game. But this is a collection. You can even see the disc. Oh, the disc isn't in here. Okay, I probably left it in the PS3 at home. We did it with Jack and Daxter. Bop. There's fucking that bop was that's the timing for it to appear. That's probably what it looks like. There's promotional art. Whatever. Okay, it's gone. As you see here, you got a little character. I believe that character has an actual name. I think his name is Bendy. I think they use it in a bunch of ads and shit. But the little figure going into the portal down there is used for a lot of promotional stuff. Both like in universe for Aperture Science, and then like for the game itself in certain areas in general. It's pretty basic. I actually like Portal 2's cover more. Portal 2's cover uses the robots, Atlas and Peabody, which are only playable and you really mainly see the multiplayer. It's really weird that they don't use Chell at all as like she's the main character you play as, and even like a lot of stuff to be desired with finding out more about her and all that. But again, we should wait for that until characters. But yeah, it's basic. There's not a lot to say about it. It looks cool for what it's worth. I think they didn't show the main character and all that just so that way you could leave some mystique as to what the game is. It's like, what is... Okay, so we're using portals. Okay. But then when you actually play, you're like, wow, it's super extensive with how you actually use the portals. I don't know. That's my guess. What do you think about man falling through hole?
Good.
Okay. So the soundtrack. You didn't hear much of the soundtrack.
I didn't really. There was a lot of techno beats. It was kind of a little bit more subdued.
Yeah.
A little bit more atmospheric. Everybody knows like the main, like the credit song for at the end.
Yeah. Still Alive for this game, but then Once You Gone for the second game. With Portal 2 soundtrack, there are a lot of tracks that you don't hear in the game. So with everything you do here, plus those that are, I guess, considered extras, which are a lot of them, it's a very extensive soundtrack. For this one, I haven't seen, I don't even own Portal 2 soundtrack, but, well, neither of them really. But for the first one, I haven't even really seen what the track listing is for it, so I'm not sure if there probably are extensive tracks that aren't even in the game. For like you said, for what's in the game, it's mainly techno. Again, you're in this, robotic-like facility where robots pretty much rule it, as it were, or at least take it over.
Which is why everything is so clean.
Yeah.
At least except for the shit pits.
The shit pits. So, it sounds really cool. It is very atmospheric. There's moments where it needs to be fast-paced. When a fast-paced moment comes, or you're being overwhelmed by enemies or whatnot, like mainly the turrets. But there's a good chunk of the game where no music is playing at all. So that's where it's like the atmospheric, the atmosphericness is supposed to take over. I can't word today. I apologize, but it's supposed to be more atmospheric in those moments where there isn't music. Just that way, you're focused on the puzzle, task at hand. Nothing's distracting you. Not that the music's distracting, but do you kind of know what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
That? Okay, good. Do you? Hopefully. So, okay. Yeah. Last but not least, characters.
Chell, silent protagonist.
You can see her in certain areas, mainly at the start of the game.
Yeah.
If you have the portal there, and they have to be placed in a certain way, so where you can actually see her, or even if you portal up and down and then just go through, you can see her that way.
And of course, there's the robots that sound really cute.
Yeah,
who
are also voiced by the actress who does GLaDOS. Yeah, those are the turrets.
And then GLaDOS is really quite humorous, but also kind of a bit psychotic. But hands down, the best character in that game, Companion Cube.
Well,
that pink heart.
It's
so cute.
Everyone's favorite character.
Companion Cube.
Which you incinerate by the end of it. So,
poor little guy. He died for us to progress.
When you do get a good look at Chell's model, it's very basic. She looks like she's in a fucking prison because she has an orange jumpsuit on, and she's barefoot, but she's got these little things on her ankles that have a little springy do.
Yeah, and then somehow that little thing prevents her from falling to death.
Yeah, or from hitting the ground and just dying from the impact.
Yeah,
so AKA video game terms, no fall damage.
No fall damage. So
and they converted that into boots by the second game, because if you see her model in the second game, it looks a lot more detailed. Again, experimental. And everything looked basic for what it's worth, for lack of a better way of phrasing it. So her model looked basic. The game just runs straightforward in a way. It's not very, story oriented and all that stuff.
And then GLaDOS' inspirations for a character are obviously from HAL from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
But they decided to gender bend her, but also make her quite hilarious too.
Yeah. It's funny because in this game she starts off sounding very robotic and very like over the PA system, But then it's not until you actually get to her, and the more you kind of go against her, and she starts to get pissed at you because you're making it through this shit and she wants to kill you. She kind of drops it's still there, but she kind of drops the robotic tone, and she sounds a little more human for what it's worth, in terms of speaking more, not robotic, you know what I fucking mean. But anyway, so...
Sadly, she gets replaced by the not so smart Wheatley in the second game.
By the second game. And by the second game, she sounds a lot more human. She doesn't sound robotic and the
well, of course,
monotone.
She's a potato now.
But GLaDOS has many forms. But you don't see GLaDOS at all until the end when you actually fight her. She's the only boss, as it were. Because again, it's a puzzle-oriented game. There really isn't much of the way of bosses. There's enemies with the turrets and all that. But you only hear her, you don't see her, and again, her design is basic, so...
No, yeah, and then the way you defeat her is pretty interesting, is you put in personality thing. You put in the personality thing.
The cores, yeah.
Yeah, the personality cores. All of which are kind of like a random emotion. Like, there's a crying one, there's a really savage one.
Yeah, so there's There's one that just does nothing but rant on about listing off a fucking recipe for cake. There's one that is very inquisitive, sounds like the turrets, has that kind of innocent, high-pitched voice, very curious. She's like, "Who are you? What's that?" Like at the gun. "Oh, who is she?" Looking at GLaDOS, and you have to incinerate them all, which is funny because you don't put them on her, you incinerate them. That's what it is. But they are tied to her, so because they were her cores. And then you've got the one that's all savage, just makes like growling noises and shit. And I want to say there was one more, and if there was, I forgot what it was. So I guess we can put it here. But there are like there should be 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And technically he's not in this game, but Wheatley was one of them. As spoilers, I guess, as we end up finding out in Portal 2. Because GLaDOS does in fact recognize Wheatley as the second game progresses. And essentially he's the dumb core, I guess, who ends up taking over the fucking facility. So
The dumb
yeah.
core. So, but wait, when GLaDOS probably that's where GLaDOS dumb moments come from then.
She explains it as, again, spoilers for the second game, I don't fucking know. But she explains it as when he was connected to her, the dumb decisions she would make, there was always that voice in her head, which is him, making these decisions and ended up being not good decisions, really, really dumb ones. So she always calls him a moron. It's funny. Well, great. Cool.
Wouldn't she also be calling herself a moron? I mean, he is part of her.
Well, again, that's kind of what, I don't know how that works. That's just basically where, because they're all supposed to work in tandem, but I guess once they all split, that's when they just kind of become their own kind of entity, because I don't know, more cores get discovered by the second game, or at least get shown off by the second game, because you got the adventure core who just is always like, "Hey, I'm ready for adventure." Shut that, I don't fucking know.
Was there like a screaming one?
The space
one.
Yeah, the space core's hilarious. And then there's the fact core who just spouts out random fat.
So wait, what does the space core do?
Nothing. He just wants to go to space, and when he actually enters space, he doesn't like space. He wants to go back home. There are so many lines of dialogue from all of these kinds of characters that you just do not hear unless you take the time to just stand there and not do anything in the presence of these characters. Given the contextual moments, of course, because you can't do it during a boss battle, you're gonna fucking die. But in certain parts of both these games, when there's a character just kind of hanging around like Wheatley or someone, and they're just talking to themselves, being stupid, you can just stand there and listen to them just banter away, and they have so many lines of dialogue. It's really funny. Again, Space Core himself just blabbers on about space and makes up little scenarios in his head about pleasing his father about going to space, because that's their whole family vacation plan. There's so many things like that you don't get to hear, or even if you do hear, the music's going through and you're focusing on whatever you're doing, like with the fights with these cores where
honestly, these are extra
you don't
things
pay attention to them. But they're there. Again, there's a lot of detail.
Only if you look for them, you'll find out like little more funny tidbits about the characters and all that.
Yeah, basically the conclusion, while it is simplistic, especially this first game, there is still a lot to it. It's not like it's a bland, straightforward, monotonous game where it's like, okay, well, you've got someone nagging at you, and then you're finding out shit through portals. Like, it's not as, as bone dry as that. There's a lot of meat to this, so
yeah, for just like an interesting concept of just like using portals, surprisingly good games came from just this one concept.
Yeah, definitely recommend you play both of these, and that's why we went to Portal 3. But Valve cannot count to 3, so.
Well, Valve doesn't like 3.
Technically, why would I even say technically? They included the Portal universe in fucking Lego Dimensions. That is not Portal 3. Whoever fucking decides to go ahead and say, "Oh, there's our spiritual Portal 3, now fuck you." Stupid. Don't know why they even thought to include that in Lego Dimension. Anyway, there was also a Portal VR tech demo they showed off like at, not at E3, but it was, no, not this year's E3, but like sometime.
Oh my god, Marcelo.
I would lose my shit if they did that at E3 this year. I would have been all over that shit. No, it was.
Oh, no, I'm just thinking of the whole.
Jesus Christ.
Imagine that shit in VR. No.
Definitely.
Don't
future
do
warning.
it then.
No.
Don't do it.
There was a VR tech demo though. There really was not at E3. It was at some event. I don't remember. I'm not gonna put the details or whatever. But like, I don't know if they're experimenting with something, but hopefully we do
Maybe
get some
Portal
kind of,
VR will be Portal 3 VR, where you get to be Shell.
or at least they get to be who?
Shell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though, didn't she go to space, Dan?
Who cares anymore? That's what happens at the end of the second game. She doesn't go into space. I mean, she portals the moon, and then you kind of get sucked through for a bit, but then GLaDOS saves you. So yeah, and then she supposedly lets you out of Aperture, like for good, but because she's so tired of trying to kill you, because you keep foiling her nefarious plots, so. She's like, just go, get out of here, fuck off.
So I'm guessing we didn't really leave her then.
Wheatley just left floating in space, and then, yeah, but
So is the Space Corps.
in the Space Corps. Yeah, that's about it though. Portal 1, really good, definitely recommended. Also the sequel as well, check them both out, they're really awesome. Verdicts. Seriously, you're gonna give this 5 out of 5? I'm actually surprised.
It's fun.
Okay, I'm probably gonna end up giving it like maybe a 4.5 because while it did some things really good, again, like the whole, not that it was an issue with me again specifically, but like the whole flipping around in a portal kind of thing when you're trying to, when the camera's reorienting itself, stuff like that. Like I said, basic is not a problem for it, but that's why I prefer Portal 2 because while it keeps the basic. It starts off the same and then it deviates into something else later by the second half of the game. The second game's more complex and for whatever reason it is, I'm not sure how it is, maybe because Portal 2 was the first one I played of the two of them, but I like that one a lot more. But this one is just as fun, but I don't know. Something about the second game draws me in more, but this one's still awesome in its own right. But the stuff that it does do that's a little funky, off color, the second game definitely nails and polishes up. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Marcelo.
And I'm Weston. Remember, when life gives you lemons, you give life back the fucking lemons. You don't take that shit. You ask for oranges.
Get mad.
You ask for fucking oranges.
Get glad.